Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from Stash Project. This is our July compilation video. For those of you who are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining in. Hope you like what you see. But we do this every month at the beginning of the month. We had a holiday weekend to deal with this month, and we go through all of the expected kit releases. Expected kit releases. Sometimes things don't come out for the given month, and this, of course, is July of 2020. So, guys, welcome to the second half of the year. Not a whole terrible lot on the international side of things this month, but there are a few releases domestically to sort of make up for that. So, taking a look here in the United States first, over at round two, there are currently 3 kits on the release slate. There are a few things that from June that slid into July that were released this week uh, before the 4th and this morning, because this is Monday the 6th that I'm recording this. So technically they're not July releases. There's things that slid into July, and we'll cover those in the regular weekly video. So they're not technically on the, oh, hey, coming out in July slate. So there's just 3 kits right now. So first up, you have a reissue of the 1965 Pontiac GTO. I guess it's a 2-in-1, technically speaking, because there are some custom parts in it. Plus, it is that venerable old kit that has basically the ability to build it as a convertible, or you could spend the rest of your life trying to attach the roof to it and make a coupe out of it. This and the old MPC 72 GTO are probably the 2 most loathed Pontiac kits in existence, at least from my personal experience with my friends locally in model clubs that do build a lot more 1960s style kits than I do. I mean, I have plenty of them, but of course my focus, my taste is a little more Asian, a little more, especially race cars. But be that as it may, there's nothing new about this kit. It's going to be the same old, same old. There are a set of sort of torque thrusty looking wheels that are in this that people have been arguing back and forth whether or not they came in the original kit or not. They appear to be recreated and put back in. So that may technically be new, but I think they're sourced from a different set of wheels they've already tooled up for something else in the past of the last 10 years that they've been, tossing custom wheels and stuff into kits. So anyway, for the folks that are, for whatever reason, interested in that, that is back out. Also getting a reissue, if you will, of the Steve McGee Black Beauty Wedge Dragster. Now, this could be molded in black, so know that going in. I'm sure somebody will complain about that anyway, even though the real car is black. It does have pad printed slicks, and it does have a new nose piece, and this also works off of the newly tooled body that they did for the other previous Wedge Dragsters. So basically the whole body's new with a new nose piece. They're saying it is a more faithful representation of the one-to-one dragster than the car was when it was made. The kit was rather back when it was made back in the 1970s when the car actually existed. So for vintage drag fans, you have that. And then the other thing that is going to be coming out, I'm not sure what interest there is for this, but whatever, is the Little Gypsy Show Rod. It is like a giant motorcycle-looking wooden house on wheel type deal. I mean, there's, if ever, evidence that the drugs were good in Michigan back in the 60s. It's one of these kits. It is a Catch the Cat collector's kit. 1 out of every case. It's 1 out of every 12. Will be molded in translucent metallic orange. So there's that to look out for, or try to catch, depending. And it is the first time in over 50 years that the kit is released. It does have those great big like gumball tires that look like people call them bulldozer tires, but of course bulldozers don't have tires, but they're gigantic barrel-sized tires, and those are pre-printed. There was another show rod they've done in the past. The name escapes me because I'm going to be straight up honest with everybody here. I don't pay a single bit of attention to these crazy show rods from the 1960s, but I vaguely recollect there's something that they reissued not too terribly long ago that had those tires. if not retooled, at least decorated, and they're going to put them in this because it uses the same tires. Over at Revell, we were supposed to get 4 kits this month. I've seen nothing indicating that they are delayed. Actually, Scale Auto has done an online video review of one of these, so they have obviously rather have a pre-production sample or a production media sample rather, and so those 4 kits are Dom's 71 Plymouth GTX from the Fast and the Furious. That is a 2-in-1 kit. It builds as a stock GTX, and then it has some lowered suspension components and some custom wheels and whatnot added into it to make it look like the car from the Fast and the Furious. There's a reissue of the 1962 Chevrolet Impala. This time it is a 3-in-1. You guys may recall, if you have an Impala, the original 62 Impala that came out in the special edition was a 2-in-1. It was a street car, factory stock car, and also had drag racing option in it. This will add all of the custom pieces from the Foose kit, without the Foose name, and that'll be your 3-in-1, so stock, drag, and custom. Also, a reissue of, I believe that's an old Monogram kit, if I remember right, the 78 Chevrolet El Camino. Also a 3-in-1, factory stock, somewhat of a custom, and then lowrider parts are in there. It does put the camper shell back on the pickup bed. I think that's been missing out of the last couple of reissues. And, I mean, otherwise, the kit is pretty much the same as always. But I think the last time that kit was seen, however, I'm not sure. There was a lowrider version of it, and then there was the version that came with the bass boat in that a series of trucks that they did with the Ram Charger and whatnot that came with the Gone Fishing sets. I'm not totally sure which one of those chronologically came out last. It might be the lowrider. I think it might have come out the same year, which would have made sense. You know, run them over one thing, run a whole bunch off, and then hold it for 6 months and repackage it into something else. But be that as it may, that kit has not been out since the late 90s. I'm guessing that would make it. So it's been a little while since that kit's seen the light of day. And then, of course, the kit that a lot of people are anxiously anticipating, and that is the 69 Chevrolet Chevelle, the complementary second variant of the 68 Chevelle kit that they just reissued, or just issued rather, brand new tooling that came out last year. So this is significantly modified. It is not a hatchet job the way that the AMT 68, 69 Chevelles are. It does appear that it has new side tooling inserts to cover all of the issues on the side of the body in terms of the trim and the marker lights and things like that. Obviously, new front fascia, new rear fascia. There's some interior pieces, quite a bit actually in this. It is a significantly modified reissue of the new tool 68 as the 69. So those kits again are supposed to be coming out in July. So we'll see when they arrive. Revell, you know, in the older days, you would always say, well, that should be out towards the end of the month. The current Revell, there's no real, like, shipping with them since they really don't, you know, they haven't been releasing enough since they recreated Revell US to really be able to nail down when they go. They seem to ship them when they get them, and so those may come in sporadically through the month, or they may all come in at one time, so we'll see as the month goes along how that world works itself out. Going over to the Japanese side of things, over at Fujimi, we get... God, another reissue of the Suzuki Hustler. Huh. This is going to be in bluish black pearl as far as the body color that it's going to be molded in. So if you haven't got one, there's another chance to get one. This is something along the lines of the 11th reissue of this kit, and I wish I was joking when I said that. And yeah, I mean, I have a Suzuki Hustler. I just haven't had a need for 10 other ones. So there is that for folks that either don't have one or they've been waiting on that one color. Over at Hasegawa, you're going to get a few reissues and a new tool this month, and you have a reissue of the Mazda Cosmo with Resin Girl. This is what was, I think, the second kit in the Resin Girl craziness that started last year, so that's just a straight reissue. Also a reissue of the 2005 Subaru Impreza WRC Rally Mexico kit. That kit has not been reissued ever, so the last time it was out, it was in 2005, so it's been 15 years. Reissue of the... Mitsubishi Evo 3 rally car for the 1995 Tour de Course. Rally car obviously has existed. This is a new set of decals. This livery has never been done in the past. They replicate either the 3rd place finishing car or the 8th place finishing car. Then you get a reissue of the Porsche 962C, this time with the Braun Racing Team and the World Sports Car Prototype Series from 1986. So again, a kit that's been around the block a few times with a new set of decals that has never been done in the past. And then lastly, the new tool kit, which is the Toyota Corolla 11 GT Apex from 1989. This is a brand new tool. Shares nothing with the BMAX kit, which is going to be fairly ironic when you watch the videos coming out over the next couple of weeks as we start talking about what Hasegawa is doing for the fall. But be that as it may, this is a civilian kit. There are two sets of wheel options in here. You can build it sort of as a, I don't know, a base A92 Corolla Levin, and then you can build the GT Apex, which gives you some ground effects and a spoiler, and again, a different set of wheels. So all of those build options will be in the kit, and again, brand new tooling. So it'll be interesting to see what all they do with that over the course of the next 18 to 24 months. And then over at Aoshima, lastly, we have several just straight reissues and a couple of things that have either long ago forgotten parts or they've been tweaked minorly. So the straight reissues are the 72 Nissan Laurel 2000 GX, the 73 Nissan Skyline GTR, as well as the 2012 Toyota Hiace boxy style VIP van, and the 1995 Toyota Hilux Custom, which is another one of those lowrider adjustable suspension kits that they've done. Now, there are 3 other kits this month, and these are all going to have, like I said, little bits and pieces. One is a 2010 Toyota Hilux they're calling Fire Inspection Public Relations Vehicle. This has a few little odds and ends added to it to make it a fire vehicle. You may recall this was just released a few months ago as a police sort of traffic vehicle, and that big goofy thing on the roof with an aero board on it. This does not have the aero board. It is, but it does have the windows within the windows. That's new side windows that were tooled for the police version. Again, a fire badge for the front grille, the way the police have the little flower badge, and then there's some grill lights and a few other, like I said, a parked runner or two worth of little just additional fire extras added to it. And then you have the reissue of the 2015 Crown Royal Saloon. Now, this kit hasn't been out before, but this is taking, like the Crown Athlete has in the reissue series, where they're taking the front fascias and the wheel sets and everything from the 2013 Crown Royal and the 2015 Crown Royal, combining it all into the same box so that you can build either or the, what they call early-late versions of the GR210 Crown Royal Saloon. So that's a nominally a new kit by Boxing Pieces that have never been together. And then last but not least is a kit that has been long ago forgotten, and that is the 1991 Nissan SEMA. That is a Y32 generation SEMA. That's Type 3 limited as far as the trim level. I don't believe one of those kits has been reissued in the last 15 years. It may be actually even a little longer than that. Especially if you're talking about base model factory SEMAs, that may not have been released, has not been reissued for 20 years at this point, maybe 25, depending. Because I have a Nissan SEMA of this ilk, and it is from the, I think, 1994, 1995. Now, it did get, this body style SEMA did get a reissue as the Impal when they did the model car line, starting the model car line over, if you want to call it that, and it's kit number 31 in that series, but that cannot be built factory stock. It has a couple of sets of wheels, but none of them are the factory stock wheels, and it has some ground effects, and of course not factory stock, and it's the Impul tuner version of the SEMA. So that, guys, wraps up this month as far as we know. There are a few kits floating around out there. There's a couple of new kits that may come out this month and things of that nature, but since you never can nail down anything that Nunu's doing until the date stops sliding around in Asia. Right now, what could come out this month in terms of July kits would be the Peugeot 306 Maxi and the 91 Tour de Course ST165 Celica rally car. Actually, the Maxi is a rally car too. Both of those currently are a July 15th release in Hong Kong, but they were also May releases and June releases, and now they're July releases. So you can see where we're going with that. They were displayed this weekend in Shizuoka in terms of, maybe they're a little closer to being done, but I'm not sure. We were pretty much promised by Platts that we were going to get the 306 Maxi before the end of June, and that clearly has not happened. So we'll see when they actually get that in. The kit's done. I could again, something to tune into the weekly video for, because we'll go over the Shizuka. What is it? The Shizuka Square Shizuka modeling cooperation exposition or something like that. Normally we don't ever talk about that show because nothing ever comes of it, but this year, because the Shizuka Hobby Show was canceled, they decided to make a little bit of a shindig out of it over this past weekend. So again, weekly video will go over all the things there. There are a few new kits that were announced at that show, some reissues that were announced at that show that are not public knowledge right now, meaning, I mean, you know about them if you follow enough modeling blogs and things like that, or forums, but right now they're not officially announced as having, oh, this kit was going to come out in XYZ month or things like that. They're kits for the future. I don't know if that necessarily is going to mean that the Tokyo Hobby and Model Show is also canceled. I haven't looked to see if it is, probably is, but I'm not sure if this serves as sort of a fall jumping platform, or if there's still going to be an event in October around the end of the year. Like I said, there's a new tool kit out of Hasegawa that was announced, several reissues from Tamiya of existing kits that have been tweaked. If you remember what happened with like the Street Custom GTRs, where they had some pieces and parts added into them, so those are we'll talk about those in the weekly video. They would, to me, be early fall stuff and not late like Christmas stuff. So we'll see when those kits start filtering into the pre-order systems, when they are expected to be out. The new Tool Hasegawa kit is probably something that should have been out already, because everything kept getting pushed back a couple of months in its time frame by the fact that that Mitsubishi Lancer was so late. So we shall see. New kits being announced, new reissues being announced. At least we know that the hobby is not has not contracted coronavirus and died. So there is that to look forward to, at least, right? Anyway, again, hope you saw some stuff there that you need or you didn't know you need, but now you know you need. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. We'll see you on the other side.